traveling man. I'm traveling man. I'm traveling man. I'm traveling man. You wait to see forever camp and outside the anime. And I will sing forever rain and I will see my man. When I can stand and be the same, and I can bring the rain. You wait the rain, the rain, the rain, up and say the rain. I'm traveling man. 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 Well, now let's sing. Man, traveling man. I'm traveling man. I'm traveling man. I'm traveling man. I'm traveling man. Traveling man, yeah. You went to sing a long time, you went to sing away. You went to swing whenever need, and then don't run away. But I can find the main way, went to sing the main way, and up and sing and went away, up and sing my way.
Welcome back to the Acoustic Shop channel. I am John. Hey guys, it is New Guitar Thursday.
My mic is not working, but we should be live.
Live. Hey everybody, welcome to Takeover Tuesday. I am Austin. I am taking over right now. I don't know why they let me do this, but they allowed me to take over. So today I've got a couple things to discuss regarding humidity. Here in Missouri, we are today maybe going to hit a record in the 80s of weather, and I think it was 2 days ago we hit a record low. So as we're going through all our temperature changes, all our humidity changes, our instruments are feeling that. So they were asking if we had any examples of instruments that might show some humidity issues. And as reluctant as I was to be the example of what not to do to your guitar, I went ahead and brought mine in to show you a few things of what life on the road does to a guitar whenever you are not humidifying the thing. So if you are watching, wherever you're watching from, please let us know. We love to hear that. And then, of course, like, subscribe, tell your friends, share the news that the Acoustic Shop is live, and we're about to show you some devastating effects of humidity. So, this guitar in particular is my very own 2005 Alvarez PD85. I had purchased this guitar right before going on the road with Hurry Sundown. We were doing a little bit over 200 shows a year, and this guitar was a great workhorse for me throughout that time. However, I did not take care of this thing while on the road. As you can see, I've got the culprit right here. Anybody ever used one of these before? These things are little sponge humidifiers you fill with water, and then you just pop it in your sound hole. And they are a maintenance hog. I had a reminder on my schedule to do this every week, and I bet I missed it 75% of the time. Hence, we started seeing some of the activity in my guitar. I don't know if Trent can already show some of the cracking, some of the love cracks that have showed up over the years from me loving on this thing so much, but in the end, whenever you are taking guitars in and out of different venues or in and out of your house to your car, when you're going from air conditioning to hot, or if you're storing in your car throughout the summer during those triple-digit days, your woods are going to want to expand or shrink depending on those conditions. So what you're seeing happening to the top of this is exactly that. Woods expanding, shrinking, therefore developing cracks. I also have my bridge slightly coming up. Now, if anybody's ever noticed their action on their guitar is starting to get really bad over the years, generally it's as that top shrinks, it kind of sinks down, and it tends to give you really high playing action. And then you'll notice on a lot of guitars, those saddles will start, or those bridges will start to actually detach from the top and start to kind of bow forward, also giving you terrible playing action. I think one of my favorite things that Humidity did to this was actually on the inside. You might see there is a remainder of a brace that used to be on the back. And that brace started vibrating, and I could hear it as you tap on the back. It would have this nice little drum snare approach to it. Not exactly ideal for acoustic guitar tone. It was kind of unique to me. So what I did was simply remove, and you can see the one piece of glue that was still keeping that brace attached. So I removed it, and I consider that a custom back Alvarez. Now it just resonates a little more freely, we'll say. But again, as you're dealing with these temperatures and lack of humidity, it'll do all kinds of things, not only to your wood, but to the glues that they use as well when looking at your bracing and whatnot. So cracking, all kinds of bracing issues, things that you can and cannot see, will definitely rear its ugly head if you're not using humidification properly. A great guitar. It was a good playing guitar for me for many years. Quite frankly, this thing really gets out of the case anymore just because of the playing condition of it. It served its purpose. I have so many memories with it, but boy, that thing is kind of tough to play. And of course, since then I've upgraded to other instruments, and now this is just kind of my memories of days long gone. But humidification is key. And again, this guitar saw a lot of air-conditioned venues, hot trailers, outside festivals, all kinds of different conditions that definitely over time shows you exactly what heat, temperature, humidity issues can do to a wooden instrument. So with that being said, this...
I'm going to take over your Takeover Tuesday.
Oh, Jerry, please.
And I know you're going to hand that off to Corey because today is a special on humidification. And the only reason we're doing this, we get arguments all the time. And there's some other people online that think humidifying is just completely unnecessary because the wood has already been dried before they build an instrument out of it. And the other argument we get is, well, my grandfather never humidified his guitar, and it's, you know, a 1950s Martin, and it's been around forever. That's kind of like saying I used to ride around with no seatbelt when I was a kid. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't. I was also one of those that never humidified my instrument until I kind of learned why it's important. And I've been very well taking care of maintaining all my instruments since I kind of learned most of the repair problems I was having were self-inflicted. We have a question over there.
Yes, I think my mic is working now. If not, let me know. But a question, is it odd that my guitar sounds better in the winter when it's cold and dry?
That is not odd. So the question, is it odd that my instrument sounds better when it's dry? That's not odd because if it gets oversaturated, and that's another thing to think about, and that's kind of the reason it's one of the reasons I like the humidification packs the most, because they're a two-way system where if it gets too humid, they actually suck some of the humidity out of the guitar environment. It's keeping it right in that 45 to 50% range, which is kind of ideal. It's keeping your wood safe from cracking, but if it gets too saturated, the wood gets more dense and then it doesn't respond as much. Torrefication is a process of getting a lot of the sap and the moisture out of the wood when they initially build the guitar, because they do sound good. They resonate more when they don't feel oversaturated and weighed down by the extra moisture. So yes, they can sound better if you let it go too far, though. And we grew up in Colorado. I was there till I was 18 years old. So we're in that ultra dry environment, and cracking instruments was very common, especially when they would come from the east and then be kind of transplanted to Colorado. They go through that quick adjustment in the amount of humidity in them, and that just causes contraction, and then the wood splits and cracks. Or necks, kind of the joints and the neck joints. The biggest thing with instruments is there's like 3 to 4 to 5 different woods used in building them. So you got an ebony fretboard, a mahogany neck, a rosewood body, a spruce top, and then you got all the bracing. All those woods react to moisture differently. The ebony fretboard, it's a really stiff, dense piece of wood that doesn't react as much as a mahogany neck will. So it shrinks at a different rate. All these different woods shrink and change at a different rate. bridges made again by out of ebony or rosewood, totally different rate of shrinkage than the spruce top. So if those two kind of expand and contract constantly at a different rate, that's when you get the cracking. The world famous Martin crack around the pick guard, because that plastic pick guard didn't expand, but the top of the guitar did expand or contract. It leads to just a fissure there where it cracks. Same thing happens with those bridges. They become loose and they need a bridge reglue because they're expanding at a different rate from that top, and the glue joint just can't hold forever. The better you do at maintaining that, the less of those type of issues you have, almost where you can eliminate most of them. You shouldn't be getting the cracking, the binding separation, the fretboard shrinking. All those things you can avoid with proper maintenance. I tell people it's a lot like running a car. And if you look at your warranty with every manufacturer, Taylor, Martin, Collings, Eastman, all of them, lifetime warranties, as long as you are maintaining proper humidification. It's like having a car and not doing oil changes. If you think you can drive 100,000 miles with never changing your oil, you voided your warranty. Same thing with not maintaining proper humidification. Yes, Janelle?
We have a good question. Is humidity an issue when shipping?
Yes, it is to an extent. And I was making that point about Colorado. I know John and Dad worked at the Old Town Pick and Parlor in Arvada, Colorado, and Bill Collings, when he was shipping guitars there, they kept having so many problems back and forth that he actually went to the shop, the Old Town Pick and Parlor, with a handheld hygrometer and went to different places in the shop to get kind of an average humidity level of the shop, so that he would try to prepare the shipments they would be sending to Colorado, let those dry out a little bit before shipping them. Now there are options where we have the Humid Packs. We always recommend we put those in the case with a new guitar we're shipping to kind of maintain that. We're going to start with a new Dreadnought program. This is a very cool program we're going to be unveiling during our Small Business Saturday sale, which I should announce is going to be the first Saturday after Thanksgiving. It's November 25th. We've got that huge sale going on. But one of the things we're really excited to announce is a program we're calling the Dreadnought program from the Acoustic Shop. One of the things we're going to be doing is including Humid Packs in there, because we want to make sure your instrument is properly maintained so that when you receive it, it is safe and it doesn't go through that big adjustment period getting to your environment. But the cool thing is, in a smaller guitar case environment, that's not a large area of air that you've got to maintain. It's not like you're trying to humidify the entire room or the shipping box. We're just trying to keep that guitar in its case at the proper humidity level. So it's pretty easy to maintain those. The biggest question we get, and we'll probably get some comments on this, is what do I do if I like to leave my guitar out on the stand? I enjoy that too, because you're more apt to pick it up and play it if it's out on the stand. In those cases, I either recommend, my number one recommendation is a whole house humidifier. You get those hooked up to your furnace, it monitors the air through your thermostat, and it'll actually pump, and that's what we've got here at the shop. It'll pump humidity through your entire house, better for your health, keep you from drying out, but also better for your instruments. Or if you just have one music room, just have a room humidifier. The downside to that is you got to constantly refill them, and they are pretty noisy because that fan is running all the time. But I know there is another option from Boveda that's a humid pack that just kind of goes on the outside of your sound hole. They do deplete quicker because now you got the entire room sucking some of the moisture out of those. So, yes, Janelle?
Yes, we got another question. I've heard that not properly keeping a guitar humidifier can make the edges of the frets pull up. Is that true?
Absolutely. And the biggest reason, I mentioned earlier, the different woods, the way they expand and contract at a different rate. Even bigger than that, you know what doesn't expand or contract is those metal frets. The metal frets do not change. I got an example of that right here. Let me grab that real quick. This is an old, I think, 1920s, 1917. They would call it the All Right, but it's a Gibson, kind of like their Army Navy flat mandolin. But this is an old instrument. A couple things I can show you right here. Look at this fretboard. That major crack through that fretboard, all the way through that. This was a rosewood fretboard. Again, it dried out. Same thing happened with the back here. The back cracked all the way down the back and a couple cracks down the edge. And then the back separated all the way around the instrument. These are those different woods expanding at a different rate. And the other thing you can feel is those fret edges just slightly sticking out. And what happened was the entire neck and fretboard has shrunk. The frets did not. So when they first do a fret job, they'll take a file along the edge of that, and those frets fit perfectly. They actually recess slightly behind the edges of the fretboard. But if you let these things dry out, the wood shrinks comes in from both sides. The frets do not, so you feel those fret ends sticking out, and then that can lead to those to start to pop out. And yeah, good point. But that's always a good way to check. A lot of times, if you're just starting to feel those, you can still humidify it back to a point where that fretboard expands back to where it should be. But if you're feeling that, then you've not been properly maintaining. Corey, do you have an example of one of your neglected instruments?
I do. Okay, so hello.
Introduce yourself.
I am Corey. Welcome to my Corey Talk.
I think that's a new TED Talk, the Corey Talk.
Yes, it is. It's mine. Yeah. So this is a 2013 Martin DCPA 4. This is a guitar that is special to me just because my grandpa got this for me. I told him that I wanted a Martin guitar, and he just went and got one for me, and it was my main guitar for quite a long time. It has lots of issues though, because I had this from 2013 till now. And to talk about a few of the main issues and kind of echoing what both Austin and Jeremy were saying, whenever you don't properly humidify something, all sorts of things can go wrong, wood shrinking at different rates. The top is pretty sunk on this guy. Yeah, it's probably hard to see. Binding is coming undone right here on the guitar. You can see that, hopefully. Lots of cracks, side cracks. Let's see if I can find this one here. See those cracks there? Those are cracks on the side.
Again, you can see that these didn't happen from an impact. It doesn't look like anything hit the guitar. It just, the wood dried out, and as wood does, it cracks.
I mean, this guitar has a ton of dents and issues. I'm promptly missing a high E string, which I didn't know about. But you can also see the fret wear on this guitar is ridiculous. I never had a fret job done on this. So it needs new frets. It needs a neck reset pretty badly. So this guitar is pretty much unplayable right now. And I have no one to blame but myself on this.
I mean, the fret wear is just showing how much you played the guitar.
Yeah.
But
the real thing that is concerning to me, if I take a bit of paper here, is that right there. My bridge is coming up on the treble side. If you kind of see that there, I can slide this piece of paper underneath. This is kind of a good test to see, and your paper should not go underneath the bridge at all.
And what that's doing, again, we talked about the different expansion rates, the top shrinking at a different rate from the ebony, and that glue joint just eventually comes loose. And that means this bridge is starting to tilt forward, and just like it's cantilevered, so it's lifting up right here, and that raises the action, making it almost unplayable down the neck. Eventually that bridge can pop all the way. Normally it'll go a while that way, but your action keeps getting higher and higher, and it needs your complete bridge reglue, and like I said, eventually probably a neck reset.
So the string tension is completely off on this. I have it not even remotely up to tension. For that very reason, because if I were to string this up, I mean, it's just going to make the bridge worse and worse. The big things about this guitar, I actually lived in Colorado for a few years, and I think that is what made some of these cracks happen at a pretty bad spot. Yes, Janelle?
We do have a question. The bridge coming up isn't always humidity, is it?
Not always. I mean, most guitars over time are probably going to need both a neck reset and a bridge reglue, because you've got so much tension from that headstock all the way to that bridge that it's wanting the guitar to fold in on itself. A lot of that can be avoided with always maintaining it. Again, just like saying that changing the oil on your car, it'll never go bad, or you never need any engine work done. It prevents a lot of the problems that do happen. It won't prevent all of them, and sometimes even properly humidified instruments do have the bridge start to pull up. But in those cases, just about every one of these manufacturers that offer a lifetime warranty will take care of the labor cost and replacement or reglue of both the neck joint and the bridge joint. That's part of the lifetime warranty that Martin, Taylor, Eastman, Gibson, all the major brands, Yamaha offer, is knowing that those things do happen. But they do ask, every time we do a repair, they ask, can you tell if the customer's been properly humidifying their instrument? if it is completely evident that that has not been happening, we have to be honest with them, say, these fret ends are sticking way out, this guitar's got lots of cracks, they have not been maintaining it. And Eastman has been really good about taking care of them anyway because they like keeping customers happy. But I have heard numerous stories where Martin will deny any kind of warranty repair when they have evidence that it has not been properly maintained. And it makes sense. Like I said, it is very like having a car and never changing your oil and then getting mad at the manufacturer because your engine overheated and seized up on you. It is part of the basic maintenance of a wooden instrument.
And it's frustrating to me too, because I did this to myself, right? Like I don't have anybody to blame. The only thing I wish is that I wish I'd known about this whenever I'd gotten the guitar. I got this, just from my grandparents, like I said, but he just went to a guitar center and bought it, and I'm sure that they did not, educate necessarily a 80-year-old man at the time. Whenever he said, he's like, I want a Martin, here's this, and that's something that is a really important thing that I think that we try to do, is let folks know, like, it's almost non-negotiable. Like, these are things that really need to happen in order to keep the longevity of your instrument and where it should be. So.
There are a couple online luthier, there's a well-known luthier online that is kind of against the humidifying thing and thinks it's a big scam by retailers because it gets people to buy more product. These aren't high-dollar products. They aren't things that add up that much over time. The same argument could be said that a repairman would have incentive to tell you not to humidify it. I mean, they get more repair work there if you're getting a lot of warranty stuff done. Humid Packs, I can show you real quick. And I said earlier, we're doing the big Small Business Saturday sale. Every year we do a big sale on these. Again, because we really believe in them. If you'd like to stock up for the year, you could do that. But both Boveda and D'Addario have the Humid Packs. From Boveda, it's just called a two-way humidity control. Humid Pack is a D'Addario trademark for the same product built by Boveda. I love these things because I had the same device that I'm drawing a blank, Austin had on his guitar, and it's just a sponge. I never kept it re-humidified, so I just had a dry sponge in my instrument. These I stick in there. Once you get that case environment where it should be, and anytime you pull your instrument out, close the case with the Humid Packs in there. These things last, I've had them last about a year. On average, they say 3 to 4 months expect to replace them. Sometimes it's less than that, but again, much cheaper to buy a replacement set of these. $16.99 for a replacement of these. Buy that 2 or 3 times a year. If you have numerous instruments, they have bulk replacement packs that you can get. Even if you do have your instrument covered under warranty, I'm going to hang that up later. Even if you do have it covered up in warranty, under warranty, you're responsible for shipping it either back to Martin, which is probably $120 both ways, insured. So you're going to be spending a lot more than that just to get your guitar repaired, even if they cover the actual repair cost itself. So definitely not a super expensive way to make sure you're maintaining it. And one thing we really didn't talk about is playability. Setup changes a lot. Especially if you're going from different environments, if you're a touring musician going from dry climate to humid climates, it changes the setup of your instrument dramatically. So having that same level, these instruments don't change instantly. It's not like you pull it out of the case and all of a sudden the thing is just, now it's in Colorado, it's dry. It's a slow process. So you do a tour in Colorado, put it back in its case, it gets humidified again, go out to Florida, play a show. It's not doing that dramatic back and forth. So it makes a big difference on setup. Yes, Janelle?
We have a question. How about case hydrometers?
Hygrometers.
Hygrometers. That's a great way to track.
Hydrometers are different than
joining us.
Hey, I'm joining. You want to know why? I'm going to jump in. This was an important one.
I know we're spending a lot on this, but it's because, like Corey said, none of us were educated. I know my first instrument, I didn't humidify it. And we have so many people bring an instrument in here and say, I didn't know I was supposed to do this.
Yeah. I want to jump in this. I agree with Jeremy. This is one of the most important things, and it's, especially now that we're in here, I've got so many myths I want to bust today.
Ooh,
I got myth busting going on big time. Hygrometer is a little bit different than a hydrometer. that's the water density is hydrometer, if I remember right.
I don't know.
Hygrometer is the relative humidity. The only one that we stock, and they all work great. A case one is great. Again, you're wanting to maintain a 45 to 50% humidity, and I want to talk about that level here in just one second. The reason why it's a 45% to 50% humidity. Anything below 35% humidity, relative humidity, starts to become dangerous zone. So that's where the dryness starts to happen, strings shrink up, things move around. Like Jeremy said, that's where your playability goes away. Think about that. You've got a piece of wood that is under tension being pulled this way, by the strings being pulled this way. When you take that moisture out of there, the strength of those wood cells is going to go away. It doesn't have as much, so it shrinks up. And what's it going to do? Bow up. That's where you get your high action. So anyway, hygrometers. The one we like a lot is the Humiditrack. I love this as a digital. In fact, I'm going to show you. I've got it on my phone. I'm going to show you how this works. This is really cool. It's digital. Sits inside your case. Works. I don't think I can do it on my phone. Actually, I'll find it.
Anyway, it does hook up to your phone. It'll tell you kind of the relative humidity, temperature. These are a really good way to just feel comfortable knowing that your instrument is taken care of. I really recommend this if you're using one of the other forms of humidification. I got to say again, maybe costing us a sale or two. If you're using the two-way humidification system, these guys have dialed those things in where it does not go much outside that parameter of 45 to 50%. And in fact, they have other instruments. They started as for like cigar. What do you call those? What are those places you keep cigars? Humidors. They started for humidors, where they have a very specific humidity level they want to maintain to keep cigars in their optimal moisture to get the best flavor out of them, I guess. So they have different levels of humidity that you can purchase depending on what your goal is. And for instruments, it stays in that 45 to 50% range, and it doesn't vary much outside of that. I mean, we're talking 1 or 2% outside of that. So you can almost guarantee that as long as those things are still soft, that they are maintaining the proper humidity. And we've tested that with these. We've had them in the case, and they're dead on. So if you do have the Humid Packs, you're probably not going to need this because you can trust that those things are doing their job. But if you just like that self-assurance, and John, he'll use his all the time just to look up his guitar and see what level it's at.
I just got a new phone last night, and it's not letting me set up my app. I got the app next door. I know Austin has it on his iPad, but the trick on this is you do a bug for each individual instrument. It tells you the humidity, tells you the temperature, real time on that, by the way, as well as keeps track of it with a graph. You'll see that over amount of time, and it also gives you that advantage of also anytime it drops, it has a impact sensor on that as well. Love that unit. Yes.
It looks like we have a few people here from Florida. So what do you advise for humid climate?
Again,
humid. So again, the Humiditracks or Humid Packs. If it's too high, it actually sucks the moisture back out of it. And here's something I want to tell you folks in Florida, and this is a myth. This is one of those big ones that I want to cover real quick. Just because it's 65% outside and or 85%
this might be a good reason to have a hygrometer.
90% humidity does not mean that's what it is inside your house. You folks in Florida are running your air conditioners. Your air conditioner's job is to pull moisture out of the air in order to cool it. It's got a condenser. Exactly. You always see, and this is everybody here in the Midwest, anywhere, unless you're using swamp coolers, you are taking moisture out. And most people want their homes under 35% humidity level. So you're inside your home, usually not that way. Now, there's folks in Florida that have their house showing that the hygrometer says 70%. That's okay. But again, to take it back out, these Humid Packs in that small environment are going to pull that moisture back out of it and maintain that 45 to 50%. Yes?
Should you put the Humidipack in the sound hole or somewhere in the case or both?
So the way the guitar ones are designed, both from Boveda as well as Humidipack, D'Addario's version, they have these little bags, saddle bags, that hold 2 of the gel packs in them that will go over the strings inside the sound hole. The other bag will be put up near the headstock. Boveda actually uses 4 with theirs. Those use 3. But I use a bag in both. That way it's going to cover that area up in there. So you can get away.
This is a single one. You put a single Humid Pack inside there. That goes inside of the headstock of your guitar case. And then this one, it's like a saddle. It has 2 pockets, one on each side. You put a humidity pack on this side, you put one on the other side, and then this drapes across the strings or between a couple of the strings right into the sound hole. Again, it makes sense. The inside of your guitar is unfinished wood, so that's going to soak up the most moisture and be able to maintain a lot better throughout the entire guitar. But that one sits inside of the sound hole and it's humidifying the inside of the guitar. The outside is pretty protected with the finish, so you're not getting the most expansion and contraction with all that finish on top of it. It's actually inside the guitar that you're maintaining all that spruce and mahogany or rosewood back inside.
Again, part of this thing is to think of this, wood is a sponge. Wood will soak up moisture just like it's, those wood fibers are meant to do that. And the reason I didn't get into this, 45 to 50, you can go higher than that. 50%, 60, 70% humidity, even 80% humidity is not bad for the instrument, except for then you start to deal with mildew and stuff like that. But the reason why they kind of go with 50% being your top end is because that's going to add moisture weight to the wood. That will affect the sound of the instrument. That moisture weight, think about that. It's like putting your arm on top of the top of that guitar. It's not going to move. It's not going to be able to flex as much because of the amount of weight of moisture in there. So to be safe, we want to be way above 35. That's why they're going at 45, 50. Not much more than that, and you start to kind of affect the sound and tonality of that instrument. That's why 50% is kind of where you want to be. You can go higher than that with no damage, except for, like I said, when we get to high humidity levels, now we're going to start seeing, mold, mildew, the gross stuff.
Kind of just a hazing of the finish.
Yeah. Kills strings a lot faster. That is not a good thing at all. I really like the Humidity Packs. I used to carry one that continued to over-humidify. I had one that had a lot of moisture in it. I'm not going to say the brand, but it just continued to add moisture and add moisture. And I finally put one of these Humiditracks in it. And my 1940 D18, all of a sudden I realized it was running at 82% inside a Calton case. Not that it damaged the guitar, I wasn't happy, but all my strings were just crummy all the time. My tuners started to get a haze on them. It just was not good for them. Yes?
Is there a suggested way to use the humidifier with Mandolin? I keep mine next to the headstock where there's more room.
You can do that.
Yep,
There's
that's what I
also
normally do.
a unit by Boveda that's also really, really nice if you're not getting enough in there. They have this new humidity control. It's a directional humidity control. The advantage of this particular product just came out. They say that you can use these outside in a room. Yes, it works, but it doesn't totally.
The pack a little faster for sure.
This is a different bag. It has vinyl. Do I have one open? Oh yeah,
guitar.
we do. That's smart. This is on here.
Personally, I do use the small pack of these, so it is just the bag that goes in the headstock of the instrument. Again, that takes care of your entire case. It's keeping the mandolin pretty safe. We don't really have the sound holes dip this inside. The guitar has so much more wood surface area that it just requires more.
This was designed to be a one-way. It's got the vinyl on the back, so moisture's not going to go out. It's supposed to block off the sound hole. You can use this though on violins and mandolins pretty well because of the fact that it has this Velcro. So again, you can put more moisture into the body area of that case by strapping this over the strings, and now you have it holding above the top of the mandolin or a violin in order to do that. I know they say one-way control. This does not seal enough that you're going to burn out these bags pretty quick in an open room. I know the product, what it's designed to do. I can't say I totally believe in it for that use, but for a good use for a single instrument, stuff like a violin, a mandolin, small instrument, I do like this product for that.
This one might not be your expertise, but are electric guitars built heavier so they're less affected than acoustic guitars?
So yes, they are less affected by humidity because of the fact that it's a solid block of wood.
With less tension.
With less tension on it.
String gauge is so much smaller.
A Les Paul is a very thick piece of mahogany, about 2 inches thick, and then a top of maple on top of that. They're very rigid. It still is going to be affected. You leave it for long periods of time, it's still going to shrink. We're still going to have those the areas of binding that'll break loose,
fret ends,
necks, fret ends, those kind of things will definitely happen. But the body cracking, less
it can
chance
happen.
of it. It can. But again, we're talking about this thick of a piece of wood. When you take that moisture away from those grain lines, it's going to start to have issues. So, yeah.
Got a question. What do you do if you don't have a hard case?
Okay, these work well in a gig bag. They just don't work as well. You're going to find yourself replacing the Humidity Packs more often. which again, they work. It's just that it's not able to seal in as much. I'll give you this as an example. Those Colton cases, the flight cases, those Humidipacks will last me almost a full year because there's no moisture coming out of that case, so it all stays inside there. It still works well the other way. It's just not going to last as long in a gig bag. So the looser your big gig bag is, the less padding is there, the less time it's going to exist. At that point, if it's so thin, I highly recommend a room humidifier, and then that's when you kind of move to that next level.
What about a Dobro since they don't have a sound hole? Would one Humidipack by the headstock work?
It would. I would probably put 2 in there. Again, use maybe the Velcro one, using 2 on the body. The problem, again, it's not that one won't get the job done. It's just going to be replaced a whole lot more often. The reason we went over this with Boveda, so the two products work very similar. They're the same sort of deal. One, Boveda puts more moisture per pack in their sets, whereas the Humidipack, even though it's the same brand, uses less water in each individual package. They also put 4 packs in a guitar one for this versus 3. They want you to put 2 in the sound hole, 1 up by the headstock. They want 2 up by the headstock and 2 in the sound hole. The advantage of that is these are for sure going to last you that 3, if not 4 months. With the extra moisture, you might even get 5 months out of it. With this, you may get 2 to 3, maybe 4.
They're both, because of the way they're built, putting out the same amount of humidity. It's just this one's using 4 packs to do it. The other one's putting out more.
So the same theory would work for that Dobro. You've got less time for those packs to do if you only put 1 in the case. If you get 2 into that case, you'll have less time between refill runs. It's still going to maintain that 45 if you're running in a hard shell case.
It's going to deplete it quicker.
Yep, that would be the difference there. So, Gus, I knew this was going to be a big one.
And we are passionate about this because most of our repairs, especially this time of year, are based on not properly humidifying. And so many people say, nobody told me I was supposed to do that. I bought this guitar and nobody told me. It's kind of like, I don't know what that would be like. Just going into a shop buying, who knows?
I mean, a lot of people don't know you have to replace the headlight fluid in your car. You really need to do that.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. An Oasis humidifier.
That was, that's a brand that we definitely humidifying. It was a lot. They were not stop it 50% line, and with so much moisture in there.
That's the problem. Putting out at the same rate, where this one is just the way they developed this weave of the bag itself, even out the same level inside the bag, and that way, if it's really brand new and you open up a brand
effective, and it will leak. That is one of the problems. It uses a Gore-Tex as it's outside. It must be important. We might be back on. Guys, if we're back on, send us messages. Tell us. We're happening right now. So.
Oh, look, I'm seeing Austin right now. I'm seeing me pick my nose. No.
Oh, there you go.
We're going to show this new Mandolin we got in, John. We got a new MD515 Comfort Contour TV.
That is the new True Tone
television.
Vintage.
Oh.
True Tone Vintage finish.
That's the television model.
It is the same as what the CC was before, but now, since they had to call
Comfort
it the
Contour
new,
means that soft beveled edge on there, no binding.
And now it's in the TV. It looks more like the varnish finish. It is not a varnish finish, but with the more reddish color instead of the brown. So they are phasing out that brown one, and this is the new version of that mandolin. So from now on, that's what you're going to start seeing.
This is the first one we've had, isn't it?
Second one.
Okay, second one.
Again,
guys, we are now sending all our mandolins out with these grommets in the strings to keep that overtone away. The overtone killer, the overtone buster, the original OT.
Yeah. So to let you guys know, we just got a shipment of Eastman mandolins in. Now I wanted to cover this. We still want to cover anything you guys got questions about with humidification. Again, last thing I want to say about humidification before we move on is it is mandatory for your warranty. Don't think that every time somebody's doing this that they're selling you the undercarriage covering for your car. This is not some crazy add-on that they do at the dealership in order to get you there. I tell everybody, I don't care what kind of humidifier you're using so long as you're using one. And I've told every customer that's ever been here, it is important. Do not throw this information away as if it is just something that doesn't matter. And I got another one for you. I was going to bust another myth, which was, why is it my old Martin never had to be humidified? Guess what? It did need to be humidified. It's just that they were building them a lot heavier. And with that, you got some that survived and some that didn't. I'm not saying that every single guitar that doesn't get humidified is going to blow up. I'm just telling you, you're going to increase your chances dramatically by not humidifying it. And I think that is the reason that a lot of people have a lot of problem with the humidifier discussion, is that they think, well, there's older guitars that didn't have it done.
Follow me.
They have had to suffer some pretty bad stuff. Yeah, show Jer.
I'm going in here.
What always happens to them.
Oop, yep.
Speaking of an old Martin that wasn't humidified, 1896, some massive cracks on the top of this. They have been repaired, but when we received the guitar from the original owner, the bridge was completely gone. It wasn't attached to the guitar anymore.
That is not the original one.
This is not the original bridge. We had one built for it. They actually had to screw on like one of the old metal trapezoid tailpiece bridges on there. So this bridge was not even on the instrument because it had come unglued and was no longer with the guitar. But in general, the guitar held up pretty well, but it does have its wear and tear, mostly right here on the top. You see three major top cracks that, and also the bridge was starting to lift up there. All things that are indicative of not being humidified. Again, the original bar frets on this were sticking out, so we had that kind of filed down a little bit too. So good example of even a guitar, it survived, but these also were held at a lower tension. Right now this just has like a silk and steel low tension string on it, tuned down slightly.
It needs a neck reset in the worst way because, again, the body has kind of folded in on itself.
So the action's getting pretty high right there, again, where that neck is just kind of lifting up. And this sat in a closet unstrung for a long time because that bridge was missing. So even with all that, you still had these major cracks happen. So yes, some guitars may have survived, but I said before John got here, it's very much like saying, who needs car seats? I went my whole childhood without a car seat. Congratulations, there's a lot of kids that didn't make it, so.
I have seen quite a few people saying that they had sandwich bags with a sponge in it. Do you want to talk about that?
We had a guitar come in here that somebody did that, and they put that sponge in a sandwich bag, and the sandwich bag leaked, and actually inside the guitar, a lot of damage done. And it was just all the center seam of all the braces on the back, they came loose just because it got way over moisturized and started to warp a little bit on the wood.
My argument for this is, guys, you spent $4,000 on your guitar. Why are you taking a sponge and sticking it in there? Buy one unit that you can just use and maintain. It's not worth. Two things happen with the sponges. The sponges are great if you're going to maintain it, but realize in the wintertime you're going to be changing and filling that sponge probably every 3 to 4 days. And most of you are not going to do that. I didn't do it. Jeremy didn't do it.
I used to have the clay one that was inside it's inside a plastic thing, and a lot of violin players use this just like clay. Yeah. But you have to let that sit and soak in a tank of water for about 20 to 30 minutes to rehydrate, and then check it every now and then to see if it's completely dried out. And again, you just got this up and down. I imagine if you had one of those hygrometers tracking that, you would see this curve that goes up and down as it dries out, then gets rehumidified, dries out, rehumidifies. So yes, you could do it. Do I recommend it? If you think it's better, go for it.
Yeah.
We're just here to give you the information.
Yeah, that's like I said. You can humidify it. It's probably not my favorite way to get it done.
I see often the soap, like travel soap boxes. Yeah. People will drill a lot of holes in that and then just stick a sponge in there. If you are maintaining that, that's better than not doing it. I'll give you that. I know for me, I was never moisturizing those sponges. When you initially do it, you're going to wring it out so that it doesn't leak all over your guitar. That's probably not putting out that much humidity, or it's probably like a quick boost in humidity and then quickly levels back out. So you're probably just giving it that fluctuation thing and really not helping as much as you think you are.
We do have some questions. Is a humidifier, in addition to something like a damp it or sponge humidifier, overkill, even if it's a very dry climate?
In addition to it, no. Whatever it takes to maintain that 45 to 50%, that's what you need to be doing. A damp it, gosh, again, so little amount of water in there that it's just not going to be a long-term solution. Again, I know we had that as an option. We used it. Did it work? My big problem, again, I had those when I was young. they just didn't get the job done because I didn't keep it. If you are one of those people, and I know they live out there, I know you people are out there that change and pay attention to it every single 2 to 3 days, are always on top of this kind of deal. If you're that person, those items will work well. They work really well. 90% of you guys are not that person. I'm not that person. I know most. We see it every day in here, especially as the wintertime comes on. I got all these people that say, I keep a humidifier in there. We open the case, it's dry when they show it to us. I've had the other ones that try to tell me that they've been using a humidifier, and you can tell that the humidifier hasn't been used because the guitar is dry, and they just last minute decided to fill it. That's just how it is.
Are the Eastman 1OM specials going on sale today?
E1OM specials? No. Are they going on sale today? There's no sale today. No sales today.
No sales today.
On this Saturday, we got a bunch of big stuff planned for that, guys. It is going to be our biggest sale of the year, as always. We have a lot of stuff going on this year. Some major sales on guitars, mandolins, banjos. Again, the first 1 hour of the day for anyone local in the Springfield area, you have to be in store, 20% off the entire store. Everything on there, some brands excluded, but everything else in the store will be 20% off for 1 hour only. We have kind of built a reputation of trying to put in a lot more in the photos we do, the setups we do on the instrument, the inspections, the shipping and handling, all that stuff taken care of. So we're not one that will negotiate price. We just, what we have listed as the price is the price, except for 1 day a year. We'd like to thank everybody, give them a big sale. It makes it a lot of fun for the staff here. We just have a great time with the amount of sales that go on that 1 day. And I know how excited I get when I get a really good deal on Black Friday or Cyber Mondays or any of those days. So it's fun to be able to do something like this once a year only. We've got a lot of things we're working on. We'll start
the other news with the E1 specials,
soon.
by the way, I got notice on those. We're coming down to the last ones. I'm trying to get a bunch of those in, but there are only 100 of those that were coming in to the United States to be sold. There may be a few more, but last I heard, we're down to like 20 dreads that are available out of that. They're starting to get down. This is the brand new finish.
New color there. Look at that.
Told you, brand new.
Well, it just looks more vintagey.
That one is not, as far as I know, going on sale anytime soon. This is the first to come into the United States of the new 815 Varnish.
Oh my goodness.
Now in a sunburst. Now I have. This is the only one, by the way, of this in the new sunburst finish. But I do have 2 of the standard 815 varnishes in stock that just came in this new shipment. So
we're gonna be doing a review on this, I imagine.
I don't know.
That new finish color. I love it.
I may do
like
a
that.
review.
It's a lot more. This actually looks like one of the early 50s or 40s or 50 Gibson looks to it.
We had never seen one in a 15. The only one we saw was an 814 at the NAMM show. So this is the very first ones coming in.
Great tone on it. So it's an Adirondack spruce top, maple back and sides with this antique varnish, but now not quite as much of a red varnish, but a little bit more of a yellow, amber.
I only have this one, and I don't know when the next one will be available. Hopefully before the end of the year. But I do have 2 of the standard red violin varnish 815s. I think next door we have PGEs, which is another one that just came in, as well as a standard 815. There are a bunch of higher end Eastman mandolins that came in the shipment. But if you want that sunburst, you better call and get it right now because it's the only one we have.
I like it. It's a good sounding one too.
I think there's only 5 in the States as of right now. So this is the same thing in a honeyburst PGE.
Pretty also.
This gives you a pick guard already, as well as the K&K pickup. Same exact mandolin as far as the build, Adirondack spruce top, gorgeous maple back and sides, but this is in that honeyburst color.
Gloss finish.
Full gloss. Now it is a little bit less money.
Oh, ouch. I'm not going to out tune.
While you're tuning that one, how much was the sunburst?
have to
It's got a
look.
tag inside of it.
I don't know. I think it's exact same price as the standard ones, $24.79. Like I said, this is the only one, so whoever jumps on it first gets it. As well as, honestly, any of these 815s. We normally do not see these last very long at all. Like I said, I think I've got 2 of the Honeyburst. I have a couple standard 815s that are a little bit less priced than the PGE, and I've got 2 other of the Varnish in standard colors. So those came in.
And we've only got 1 left of the Bourgeois M5F mandolins, the F style.
Did you sell the other one?
We've sold all but 1, I believe.
Okay, I believe you.
When is the acoustic shop prototype Eastman coming?
I got a message today that
We have
said
one
it
of
has
these
been
left.
shipped and is on its way here. So I'm pretty
we've
excited
got
to see
5
that.
of these in at once, and we're down to 1. So these are not going. That one's not going to last, and it took us a year to get those. So if you want it, get it. It's available. John was answering. We got the prototype coming.
I was told
very
it's
excited
shipped
about that.
right now. I was told it's on its way.
I'm
In fact,
excited.
in fact, while we were live today, Pepijn from Eastman out in the Dutch lands, Hollands, he just asked me, I said, any thoughts on the guitar that they shared with you? He goes, what guitar? He doesn't even know what it is,
he's
but
playing-
they're asking
I think he's
for,
playing with you.
we're going to start working on a special tag that is going to be inside that guitar, as well as I just started ordering some special pick guards for this that I picked out. We've never seen them here in the shop before.
I'm curious,
so-
case candy, guys. We want to include some extra special case candy. What would you be excited to have inside your case with a exclusive
Eastman
acoustic shop only Eastman guitar?
I can think of some cool stickers that we should put in
stickers. All right.
Maybe
Yeah.
tattoos? Temporary tattoos?
Temporary tattoos. Go for it.
there. If I keep my guitars in a swamp cooler, will they stay humidified?
In a swamp cooler? In a
what they
house
said.
with a swamp cooler?
Inside a swamp cooler.
You will probably inside a house with a swamp cooler. I'm assuming is what he's saying. Yes, it will keep it humidified. I don't know if it'll get it up to the right levels. Swamp coolers only work in dry climates. So get that, and I think they only work up to a certain humidity level. I don't know if you'll get all the way
There's
up
all
to
kinds
a
of solutions. Let's
50.
just leave it this way. We've recommended a few products. The main thing is just pay attention to it. Don't let your instrument, the biggest danger to it is drying out too much. You're just going to affect your tone, over humidifying it. Most people aren't getting to that level where it's getting saturated and warping the instrument or getting mildew unless you're just storing it in a back and forth. That's what starts to make the wood expand, contract, and eventually all those joints are going to split or the glue joints are going to come undone. So we're just giving you that. We're giving you that information. If you have, I'm going to install one. I haven't done it yet. I need to do one. A whole house humidifier. I love those. We use it here at the shop. You have to constantly buy filters for it. Make sure that you're maintaining that. But man, when we first opened the shop, we had 2 of those giant 20-gallon humidifiers.
We had 3. We had a 20-gallon in there.
Every-
50 gallons in
Everyone
these
50
others.
gallons. That's like a drum. But
Anyway.
it was maybe 5 gallons and 10 gallons. So it was a lot. But every day we'd come up and fill those things with pitchers of water, and every day, the whole place was just like a constant fan going all day
Noisy.
long, just trying to maintain that.
And we couldn't get it up to there in the
It
wintertime.
wouldn't maintain. Again, it would jump up and down. And this place, you used to see it in the winter. Our windows are frosted over with humidity from the inside of the building because these windows they get cold. We keep this place right at that 50%. We can look on our hydrometers that we have hooked up to John's phone or the one we have in the hallway. But a lot of times it'll turn your furnace on even if it's not needing heat or cold and say it's getting dry in here, let's blow some more water in it. And it just has this mister that shoots into the steam that shoots into your blower, and that just comes throughout your whole house. So
We do have some suggestions for case candy. We got free playing lessons. Not sure how you'd put that in a case, but would be fun.
Sure.
A signed photo of the crew holding the guitar.
Cool.
Tone slabs. Had a good one. Zebra cakes.
zebra cakes on it.
I like that idea. We'll ship with zebra cakes.
You know what will probably be in there is a humid pack.
A photo of the
Humid
bald
Pack
guy with the
will be in there.
mustache.
Jerry with a mustache? That's ridiculous.
How about like a temporary mustache on the guitar?
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Tony had one. Maybe I gave away too much. I don't know. Ooh, a ponytail. No, the new guitar is going to be awesome. One last thing on humidity that I would like to add. That's not probably the last because I guarantee there's going to be more questions.
I do
knew
have
this was
another
going to be long,
question.
and if you
Yeah,
have
it's
to bolt, I know
controversial
you.
because I know a lot of people there's a lot of people with opinions out on the internet, and you can listen to them if you would like to. That's your choice. But don't come crying to me when you got a big crack in your guitar.
Every manufacturer, every major luthier in the entire country will agree on this fact, and they all say this exact same thing. One of the things I want to point out here, we don't carry hygrometers mainly because of the fact there's only a couple companies that do it for music-wise, and I find them to be overpriced. You can easily get on Amazon, buy a digital hygrometer for around $10 easily at Walmart or any of those places to put in your house. If you are in doubt, put a hygrometer in your room, put a hygrometer in your case. That will tell you all you need to know.
And there is one situation where you probably should always have your instrument in the case, and that's if you have wood heat. Like you are going to like
Zap
zero moisture in the air.
Especially in the wintertime because there's less moisture in the air to start with, and you're taking even more away. Wintertime is the worst time for this to be a problem. So, but it is a year-long problem. Again, just because you get a reading that's good right now, if you got your hygrometer, check it again in a few weeks. Check it in again in a few months.
The cool thing about those, the digital ones, is they will warn you. You can set a parameter and say, if this gets below 40%, notify me, and it'll send you a notification saying, hey, you're in danger zone here.
Yep.
So.
We do have a couple more suggestions. Trent CD being another case candy. And then an acoustic shop strap would be nice.
Ooh, we can make that happen.
We also had a question earlier about strings and humidity.
Okay.
So just,
go for it. Just strings and humidity.
Yep.
Again, to get the most life out of your strings, you don't want a ton of humidity. That over 60% starts to degrade the strings. It's going to be metal fatigue. That's what I saw in my own. I never see that issue. My guitars all, like I said, I keep the Humiditracks in my case. They run at 45 to 50% all the time. My string life is exactly the same. Again, sound-wise, a guitar sounds fantastic at 20% humidity. It sounds great until it doesn't. So again, it's just one of those things that's not worth it. Yes, your strings may last longer at that low humidity rate, but again, does it matter when your guitar blows out? It doesn't.
You can always
matter.
get a coated string.
A coated string will definitely help even that much more. Any other questions on that?
I think that was the only one on that.
All right.
A funny thing I was thinking as an analogy with people, what can I do to not have to spend money on? We have the same people that want to boil their guitar strings. Like rather than letting them just replace them with a new set of $10 to $12 set of strings, they say, well, I can just take them off there and boil them. That'll clean them out.
Again, that'll boil them.
We do have another question about strings, not necessarily humidity, but how often should you change your strings?
See, this is another one of those controversial situations. They say that an average player will change their strings every 4 to 6 weeks. 8 weeks is probably what I consider on a standard string to be max before it starts to kind of break down 2 months. You can get 3 months out of some sets. Yeah. Coated strings last at least twice, if not 3 times that long. So that gains you that. You start to deteriorate. 2 things start to happen with strings. One, the metal starts to fatigue and get less stable. That core wire is under tons of pressure, and it literally starts to fatigue and doesn't perform as well. The other thing is wound strings, there is space in between those. Every time you slide your fingers on there, you're putting oil, skin flakes, which oil attracts dirt, separates those and gets in between there, changes the life of those strings, not just in the way they look, but also in the way they sound. Yeah. They do not sound as good. Tuning becomes less stable.
The thing that happens with them is it's such a slow change that you don't really notice it. You've been playing it for a few months, and it's like, man, I don't really notice this. All of a sudden, you put on a new set of strings. It's like my guitar just came back to life, or my mandolin just came back to life. It's like
absolutely
all of a sudden you see this huge dramatic difference because it just happens so gradually that your ears get used to the slight change in it. All of a sudden, the responsiveness of your instrument just jumps up. So I recommend, change them. The good way to look at it, again, talking about moisture, is they start to just tarnish a little bit. Look on the headstock area or down by where you're picking it, and you'll see color changes in there. That's normally a good indication it's time to change your strings because it's starting to get tarnished.
Yep, and it's definitely worth it. Like I said, almost to give you another example, a lot of pros that are out there on the road all the time, myself included, when I was out, changed my strings every single day. That was my normal deal. With sweat and grime and all that stuff that you're out there playing and playing hard, they will deteriorate every single day I change my strings. Do you need to do that? Probably not.
Now that we're not on the road, I don't do
another myth that is done that I want to kind of bust.
You're busting all kinds
I know.
of them.
I have so many customers that come in with their strings and they say, man, it's been 6 months, but I haven't played it but 3 times. Does not matter. Again, metal fatigues, and what you did do was left oils, dirt, grime on those. Those worked on those strings and made them worse. It doesn't matter that you only played them a few times. It is the time. It's almost like opening a box of cereal. I didn't eat any after I opened that bag. Guess what? It's going to start getting soggy and stale.
I still eat it
immediately. Yeah, you can still eat it, but it doesn't. It's not as good. It's the same deal. You can close that box back up, but if you didn't seal the bag,
that big difference. It used to, all the string manufacturers would just mail the strings inside a paper sleeve. Most of the time, the paper was treated with something to help keep the string a little more live. But still, you'd find a pack of strings that was a few months old, and you'd start to see rust on them. All the manufacturers have started vacuum sealing them, putting them in some kind of plastic.
Some manufacturers are putting them in.
GHS is putting in nitrogen inside of them to keep them from tarnishing. So that just shows you how much difference that makes. Even the manufacturers are saying, we've got to make sure that we're sealing this before we get them out to the customer, because they do deteriorate just from time.
How concerned should you be if you're playing somewhere that is not controlling humidity?
If you're playing there, not a big deal. Again,
so
let's talk about that. You sort of talked about, you got it pretty well. It does not, so it takes a while for the wood to absorb the moisture. You're not going to get it in 20 minutes all of a sudden save it. Like when we see a guitar that is way under humidified, it can take upward of a week to get it to swell back up to where it needs to be. It can take a long period of time. That same
Unless
thing,
you want to dunk it
the
underwater.
wood also, take that into account. It's twice as less chance of it releasing the moisture that it has. It doesn't.
I don't know if that's scientific.
It's twice, maybe not.
John's assuming twice is.
But it is definitely less apt to. I've done some study on this. Give me a break here. It absorbs faster than it releases the moisture, because the wood does not want to let that moisture go. It has to when everything outside of it is sucking it out of it.
Still, we're not talking hours or even days.
No.
We're talking weeks and months of letting it do that. So if you're out playing a tour and then get it back in its case, you're not even going to notice a difference.
Yep.
Does the Tone Traveler wear out strings?
I've heard this one.
I don't see how.
I don't see how it's possible. Gosh, people.
There's
They
nothing
also
touching it. Like the big things wear out the string, the fret to string contact. So that's starting to wear these little grooves into that metal. It's your fingers sliding across it, getting grime inside of them, and that's just the moisture that the Tone Traveler's not going to accentuate that at all. That's just vibrating the string. Maybe that speeds up the metal, but it's not vibrating that much. It's mostly shaking the top.
I can't see it. I also heard this one, by the way, again, another weird one that I've heard. Tone Travel wears out bridge plates more because of the vibration. It's just so, I don't know. There's just no way. No way.
You're playing is vibrating a lot more.
Yeah,
than
you're
that.
playing it, so it's going to do the same thing. No way.
Got another weird one for you. Has anybody ever used coconut oil on strings?
No, but I wouldn't do it. I can tell you that much. I've never heard of anybody doing it. Again,
there are some string cleaning things. The GHS Fast Fret. D'Addario has a version of it.
String Fuel from
String Fuel
Nomad.
from using
I'll be
Nomad.
honest on this. Again, you guys asked for our
It
opinions
cleans some of the
on
oils
this.
off and makes them last a
Clean
little
some
longer.
of the dirt off. I think it leaves more oil behind, which only attracts more dirt later on.
Dad loves
I'm
it.
not
I know
fan.
a lot of great players that use that. But again, that's it uses like a gun
does
stock oil that
exhilarate.
cleans off some of the finger oils and dirt, but and also makes them a little slicker so you can slide quicker. So I would recommend those way over using like a coconut oil, which I think would deteriorate.
Yeah,
And
I
probably wouldn't help
personally
your
am
finish
not a big
much at
fan
all
of
either.
any of them. So
Is the String Joy string cleaning cloth worth it?
I do like the string cleaning cloths. I don't know String Joys. I haven't seen theirs, but I know D'Addario used to have one.
GHS
It
had
again
one.
had a treatment of a treated some sort of deal that helped you clean the dirt and grime and take the oil off of it. That one I liked way better than adding an oil that I then had to wipe away to it. You
But
kinda
again,
see what
eventually
I'm
I
doing?
got to where hey, I'm just going to change the strings.
Yes.
So
I honestly do not use any of those products. Do you?
nope.
Yeah.
I know Dad does, so
I don't think he uses them
he
anymore.
uses Fast Fret all the time.
Does he still? Yeah. Those are the old guys.
I got to go. I got a lesson I got to do.
I knew you would.
And
But
I'll
yes,
stick
around. I'm here.
this debate will not. It shouldn't even be a debate. I think anybody that thinks about it, the amount of tension that we're putting these, when they build these tops, man, we're talking like less than a 1/8 of an inch thick. Like they're thin. The bracing is giving it some strength, but again, then you're relying on all these glue joints of these different woods that are expanding in different directions. So maintaining the right humidity level is the safe way to go. If you think that's overkill and you're worried about the cost of it, then
believe that you should never change the oil in your car too, because it just ruins the balance of things. I've heard these things, they're crazy. I wouldn't do that either. So anyway, I can stick around for a few more minutes here, but I know Jeremy's got to get in here for lessons.
Thank you guys. We are very excited about Small Business Saturday.
Small Business Saturday.
The Saturday
That's the
after
25th.
Thanksgiving, we are going to be gearing up like nonstop. We've been spending the entire last week and this week getting enough of the inventory ordered that we'll have in time. Very excited about some of the sales we're going to be doing. We can't talk about it ahead of time because we can't let you know what these sales are because we'll get in trouble. But we are going to have some big sales. It'll be worth tuning in. The cool thing is if you're not local, we also do an entire 7-hour live stream that day where me, John, and some of the crew will be walking around the shop showing you all the stuff on sale, having special flash sales that are going on. It's like QVC, but with music. We've got a lot of our musical
Special
friend
guests.
guests going to be performing, giving some shout outs and some special, we're
Manufacturers.
going to spin a wheel. You can win stuff with the wheel.
Prizes. All
gonna be a
kinds of good
blast.
stuff. Great sales.
We've
all day
had
long.
people request a
string
dunk
sales.
tank. Maybe
We
that'll
talked about
happen.
humidification. There's going to be humidification sales. There's going to be instruments in the beginner level, intermediate level stuff. Really good buys. I got some manufacturer deals that you guys are going to not even believe. Like
For one-
multiple hundreds of dollars
Yeah.
off of those.
Just to give you an idea, we had just placed an order for 120 Eastman instruments. Are going to all arrive at once. It is going to be the largest shipment we have ever gotten.
You gave them a lot of clues there.
Well, they don't know what it's going to be, but
That's true.
from that one manufacturer alone, we got over 120 instruments. So, whew.
We do have a sponsored comment.
Go for it.
How many strings is that?
A lot.
Sweetwater checked their FG9Ms and found that they were all underset and appear to need neck resets. Yamaha tells them it's by design. You notice this?
We have not seen it yet.
I need to see that. Is there like a video on this or something?
I don't know.
I want to hear more about
Send a
that.
link to that. I'm interested to see that.
Yeah, please tell us more about that. I'd love to see that when they
The
come
thing
in.
is, we've only got to play the ones at the NAMM show, and then they brought some of them here for initially when they were showing to us, and then we did a YouTube review on them, and every one of those guitars, and you guys saw them up there at the Chicago show, the Fretboard Summit. I think all those were set up great. I don't know your opinion.
I can't wait to see what this is all about.
We rated them when we did our review. The setup was excellent on them, so
Yeah.
I'm interested in that. Maybe they got a bad batch. They said maybe they weren't humidifying them.
Oh,
That's probably what happened.
I'm curious about that one.
Guys, speaking of, again, to call out a major brand, Amazon, we had a customer once that bought a good time during Banjo at some point. A seller was selling those through Amazon. They were sitting in a warehouse.
Amazon warehouse.
And the customer brought it in here, and it was in very bad shape. The neck was twisted on it, and
Fret ends sticking
ends
out.
were way sticking out. And
Tuner
it was,
popped out of
again,
it.
it was probably an unclimate controlled warehouse. Probably got hot and definitely got way dry. Completely destroyed that instrument. He had to return it. So that one firsthand, and that couldn't have been in there more than a few months in their warehouse. So
There you go.
Got some questions. Some people asking where we are. We are in Springfield,
love you
Missouri.
guys. Love you guys. See you later.
Bye.
Yeah, bye, Jeremy. Another question, how do you order on the sale day? By phone, how many lines will be open?
We'll open as many as we can. I think there's 4 lines, if not 5, that'll be available to you here. First hour is in store only. If you are wanting to get the very best deal of the day, it will be that first hour from 11 to noon in store only. I promise you, you people online also are going to get some really good deals, but that first one is only going to be for 1 hour. Then we'll have certain deals throughout the day. We will have string deals. I promise you there's some great ones I just finished up. Those special instrument deals that'll go all day long until we run out. There's some mandolin deals. There's some really good guitar deals. And I mean really good ones. I am in the midst of working on a really good banjo deal. These are things that I'm getting help from the manufacturer in order to make it the best price we can for you. But here's the downside of this. I get this every single year, and I've already got people that are picking out their instruments. I had a guy showed up here today that saw an instrument that he's waiting for the Small Business Saturday sale to happen so that he can get his deal on it. It's gone. It's sold. He's like, is it going to be back before then? I don't know. I don't know. And that's the whole deal. If you are waiting on something, you're just like, I want to wait for that sale. If it's not here, it's not here. And things are selling pretty darn quick if you guys catch on. Like I said, these varnishes, I don't think they'll be here. There's a chance they could be, but probably not. So yeah, that's how you do it. But you can call in. There'll be some of this on the website. Coupon prices on the website. Follow the Acoustic Shop both on YouTube and Facebook. There's going to be deals that we show off there, as well as ways to get into a certain section of social media to be able to see these deals a little bit early. But I cannot publish them until then, because then some of these other stores are going to get mad at me, and I can't. I'm trying to get you the best deal I possibly can, and that day is going to be it, I promise.
Do you have some questions? Some people asking about where Springfield is. It's in southwest Missouri.
Yep.
We also have someone asking, how about the new V capos?
The new what's?
V capos. So I'm guessing
V capos? Oh, are you talking about the new ones we just got in the cat's eyes? Those are officially on the website right now. We have those in brass and stainless. We've sold 1 or 2 of them already. Have they been turned on our website yet, Tyler? Have you looked? Okay, double check and make sure. See if they're turned on. If you guys don't see them online, looks like we're down to 4 capos in guitar. I've got 2 stainless and 2 brass. Let's see here, 16-inch 6 and 16 in the brass, and a 16 and 16 is all I have left. So it looks like the 12-inch radiuses are gone. I've got 3 banjo capos in stock right now too. I will order some more of those if you guys are still wanting to do it. I'm working on, guys, a deal with Tone Slab. You'll have your best Tone Slab sale on Small Business Saturday sale. It'll be pretty awesome.
They are on there. I think it's slightly typed wrong, so
Okay.
I may need to rename them.
Okay, let's
Are
fix
capos
that.
in general going to be on sale, including that one?
Capos will be on sale. Yes. That one probably will be if I have them in stock. I got to figure that out. I don't know what they'll be, though, price-wise. Ooh, it's going to be good. Good camera move there. You knew that you were going to get blasted by a sunlight. Look at Trent. Trent is a professional. Good job, Trent. Not only just a great musician, but a professional. By the way, 515s also came in the Mandolin deal. 515, no varnishes, I don't think. 815 varnishes, like I told you. That's it. But again, 100 and what did Jeremy say? 120 instruments coming in.
Lot. I'm not sure what the number was.
It's a lot. And those are mostly, almost all of those are going to be small business. I will tell you that I also bought some of the specials so I could make sure that when they weren't running out. But like I said, E1D specials, I think we just sold out of our last ones today. I got more of them coming, but they're coming to the end of those. If you're waiting on an E1D special, those are about to be no longer available to anybody in the U.S. So grab them while you can.
I have an E10D, E20OM, and an E1SSSB. Which radius capo should I go with?
All Eastmans are 12-inch radius. You can use a 16 on it, but it should be a 12-inch radius. I would definitely recommend that. To use it correctly, use a 12-inch radius. So.
I'm not sure which one this one's talking about. It just says, did you say you have the Eastman in stock?
Which Eastman? Let me know what you're looking for. I probably. We are, by the way, the largest Eastman acoustic dealer in the world. So usually we get to see stuff before anybody else does. We also usually have them in stock. We buy a lot. In fact, on average, we get about 40 to 50
12.
pieces every 2 weeks.
It says 12.
12. I'm assuming you're talking about a 330 E12. I have one of those left, I believe, right? Is it right here? Go show them. The E330E. I had somebody who was looking for the Sunburst one. Guys, I warned everybody that was limited. There was only 6 of them made, and they're all sold out. So we do not have any more of the Sunburst ones. I don't think they're going to be back in. So the 330, unless they just decide to start building them, that was just a one-off. 6 of them came in the U.S., and ours is gone. So
E1OM special?
E1OM special. What about it? I've
Just
got one.
question mark.
I think we've got one in here. I did have one. I just ordered it. I know I've got more of them coming. If you do not see it on the website right now, I do have another E1 OM special as well as E1Ds on their way in that big batch of 100 and some odd instruments. They'll
Okay,
be on
I
their way
have
soon.
an update on that one. 12 string.
Okay, yeah, I'm assuming that's the E30, 330, AC 330 12. That one we do have in stock. We also have some Breedlove 12 strings in stock online too, so you can check those out as well.
I have to warn you, I am on 9% battery right now.
9% battery.
So either
All
I
right,
have
we're
to
gonna shut
unplug
this thing
from
down
the-
soon.
This and go over there.
Okay. Either way, you tell me. If we're getting hammered with that much more questions, you can switch over and charge up. But
Well,
it's
the
up
problem
to you.
is I'm plugged into the internet right now
All right.
over here.
We're gonna wrap it up, guys. Carol was wondering. All right, Carol, this is the cover. He's getting himself ready. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Pick you up a new version of Trent Pruitt's new CD, Highway to Me, right? Is what it's called. See, I knew that. I've been paying attention to your career. I was that guy, Trent. I was the one. Anyway, lots of cool stuff coming in. Like I said, Mandolin buy, small business, put it on your calendar. Get ready. It is going to be a whole bunch of fun. I've got a lot of cool entertainment coming in. People are going to make live guest appearances in here too. And we're going to be seeing all of you guys in here live stream all day long. We're going to teach Janelle how to get battery.
Somebody forgot to plug it in. I don't know who could have done that.
I'm just kidding. Look for all the Eastman stuff, the mandolins. If you're looking for any of the stuff that you saw on here, call the shop, 417-720-1223. If you have more questions on humidity, put them in there because I'm all about talking about this. I will preach it all day long. It is not, as much as you guys think it's a sales pitch, it is not a sales pitch. It is a necessity. Make sure to take care of your stuff if you do not want to see it have problems. You can repair those problems, but I think it's better not to have those problems happen in the first place. There you go. If you got nothing else, I'm going to get out of here.
We just had a few come through, but
All right.
I don't think we have any questions. I think mostly people are saying goodbye.
All right. Bye, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for Shop Talk, and then Thursday for New Guitar Thursday. We'll discuss some of these cool products that made their way in. Adios. Bye-bye. See yins. Oh,